Good evening. I'd like to call this public hearing agenda meeting of Monday, August 10th, 2026 to order. Mr. Mishanek, would you lead us in the vacation? And Mr. Mayor, the pledge, please.
If you bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we come together today to serve this community. Thank you for the privilege of this gathering and the responsibilities entrusted to all of us. Grant us wisdom, discernment, and clarity of mind as we discuss the matters before this council. Help us to listen patiently to one another, respect differing perspectives, and to make decisions that promote justice, safety, and the well-being of every resident we represent. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Caroline, roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Here.
Ms. Lynn? Here. Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
Ms. Wagner? Here. Mr. Ring?
Here.
Mr. Hannon? Mr. Missioner?
Here.
Motion to excuse Mr. Hannon.
A motion and a second to excuse Mr. Hannon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, Mr. Hannon will be excused. Item 4T8035, amend Chapter 1155, off-street parking and loading requirements. Do we have any comments from council? Any comments from anyone in the audience tonight about this topic? All right, not seeing any. Item 5T8036, amend Section 1103.02A, 129 rear yard definition. Any comments from council? Any comments from anyone out in the audience? Okay, item 6, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned from public hearing.
I'd like to bring tonight's safety committee meeting to order, Monday, August 10th. Caroline, can you please call roll?
Here.
Ms. Glenn? Here. Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
Ms. Wagner?
Here.
Mr. Ring?
Here.
Mr. Hannon? Mr. Missioner?
Here.
Motion to excuse Mr. Hannon. Second.
I have a first and a second to Mr. Hannon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, Mr. Hannon has been excused. Item 3, disposition of minutes. There are none. Item 4, old business. There is none.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to recess out of safety committee to go into regular committee or regular council for an appointment.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are dismissed. We are dismissed out of the safety committee meeting.
All right, good evening. I'd like to call this regular council meeting, Monday, August 10th, 2026 to order. Caroline, please call roll.
Hey, Mr. Lampa?
Here.
Ms. Glenn?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
Ms. Wagner?
Here.
Mr. Ring?
Here.
Mr. Hannon? Mr. Missioner?
Here.
Motion to excuse Mr. Hannon.
Second.
Motion and a second to excuse Mr. Hannon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, Mr. Hannon is excused. I'd like to go down to item 10, Mayor's report.
Mayor, can you turn your mic on, please?
Todd Wolf, can you come up to the podium here? I'd like council to approve Todd Wolf as an appointment to the Planning Commission. Todd is currently a firefighter for the city of Solon. He's had a lot of experience working with planning commissions for. We actually did have 4 good candidates that had applied for the position. And, Todd's past experience in working with the planning commission and everything was kind of the thing that set him apart. If you have any questions of Todd, or Todd, if there's anything you need to say, go ahead. If not, council, I'd ask for approval of Todd Wolf to appointment to the planning commission. And if you do, I will swear him in so he can be here tomorrow night.
Are there any comments from council?
If there's no comments, I'll make the motion to appoint Todd Wolf to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
Motion and a second to appoint Mr. Wolf. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Congratulations, you're appointed.
Thank you for your service.
It's got to be here tomorrow already?
Dang. Don't be late.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Todd Wolf, do hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio, and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Streetsboro. I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Planning and Zoning Commissioner, Ward 1, which I have been duly appointed during my continuance in office.
Thank you very much, council.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Look forward.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give Aaron a copy for him for tomorrow night's meeting.
Do we have a motion to exit out of regular council to go back to safety committee meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to exit out of regular council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm hearing none. We are out of regular council.
I'll make a motion to reconvene safety committee meeting.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're back into safety. Item number 5, new business. T8043, accept forfeited Dodge Ram truck, Chief Wayne.
As you may remember, Finance Director Matt Miller has requested that we get any vehicles that are turned over to the department approved by council. We have a case, 2025 CR 00790, State of Ohio versus Shane Wiles. Part of his plea agreement was that he forfeited his 2025 Dodge Ram 1500 to the department. The vehicle is currently titled to the police department. We just need council's acceptance for Finance Director Matt Miller's records.
Any questions?
There's no further questions. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and a second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this will be moved to tonight's full council.
I just had a comment. There was a case pending where a Tesla was agreed to be forfeited. Did you hear that the defendant passed away prior to sentencing? So there is a civil way to seek forfeiture. So I don't know if I recommended that they do that. I don't know if they're going to, but you might want to send an email or letter requesting it, because without a sentencing hearing, the vehicle goes back to his estate. But there is a catch-all in the civil forfeiture section that if we can prove by preponderance that it was used in a felony, civil court can still forfeit. That's something you'll need to consider.
It's something to consider. I'm personally, and I'm not the only one that would make the decision, but something to consider for the family left behind. They had
Sure, yeah. His mom said she bought it anyway, so
well,
that's what she was saying
maybe
before he passed it.
yeah, there are other closer family members, so it's something to
Yeah.
consider.
I think they're going to try to do it civil. If you don't want that, you should let them know, send an email, and then not object to going back to his estate.
I think that's some additional discussions to be had.
Yeah, I just want to bring it up.
Just based on the circumstances.
I didn't know if anybody let you guys know that he had passed.
Yeah,
That's all I have.
I'll discuss with you.
Yeah.
Item B, T8044, donate dive equipment to Portage County Dive Team, Chief for
Hello. The chief has sent a letter to council members requesting that certain items in use by former dive team members that are no longer in use and in need of repair be turned over to the Portage County dive team so that they can make the necessary repairs and use it as they deem necessary.
Okay, any questions?
There's no further questions, so make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and a second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll move this to tonight's full council. Item C, T8045, authorized contracts to uplift new FD command car. Mr. Grimm.
So again, the chief has submitted a request to city council for the upfitting of our new command vehicle, which came in the other day. It will need vehicle graphics from Graphic Expressions in Ravenna, emergency lighting package from Fallsway and Akron, the interior cabinetry, which is the back of the vehicle for the command portion of that vehicle, will be installed by First Day Emergency Products. There's a company in Toledo that will be doing that. And then radio installation, we're pulling the old radios out of the current command car, taking everything down to Vasu Communications in Mansfield, and they're reinstalling everything.
Good. Any questions?
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and a second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll move this to tonight's full council. Item D, discuss restricting registered sex offenders from parks/playgrounds. Council.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us specifically requested this discussion. It was based on an email that came from a resident who was asking us to discuss it. Other cities around have adopted similar ordinances restricting registered sex offenders from city parks and recreation facilities, especially when children are present. It was requested to be talked about. I don't know if any council members have any comments or thoughts or discussion on it.
No, I'm all for it. I mean, if you guys want to do it, it has to be a city ordinance. There's no state ordinance right now. There's 1,000 feet residing 1,000 feet within a school, but that doesn't stop somebody pulling in a school parking lot. So, if you want to do a city ordinance in regards to our parks, we can do that. It would amount to criminal trespass because they would be made aware that they cannot enter the city park, and you probably have to post signage at the parks that says something to the effect of, if you're required to register under 290703 or any of the sex offender statutes that you are not permitted, it would be a misdemeanor trespass is what it would amount to. It would have to be prosecuted through the city. So.
I can just briefly comment that Mr. Mishniak is correct in his assessment of how that would work. Theoretically, if you wanted the law department to put together an ordinance, we can do that. Other cities around us have done that, including Broadview Heights, where we also do some work for. So if you want me to present something to council in the upcoming meeting or two, I can put something together for you guys to decide on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, there's.
I think if you can put together some information on what other cities have done, how enforcement works.
Enforcement's going to be the key, and that's something that is going to be difficult with that. But also keep in mind, that a lot of times these individuals who are recently on the registry or just been to court are on probation, parole, community control sanctions, where judicially they're banned from coming onto these properties. What some of these statutes do in other municipalities is just ban them for the lifetime of their registration. So I can put something together and share it with you all in the next upcoming meetings or two.
Do you have any, sorry.
No, you're fine. It was council.
Just a few small things to consider. We do have families in town with kids that have parents that are offenders. That does tend to make things a little bit more difficult for those families. We would also be looking at crimes And I'm not encouraging offenders to be at the parks and stuff, but we do also have offenders that are significantly separated from their crimes, as well as if it's a city offense and we arrest them, then we are then responsible for any jail fees that we take them to. So it's not like a state where if somebody gets jail time, the state pays for it. That's a city bill, and I can't remember exactly, but I want to say it's over $100 or $200 a day to house an offender. That bill would then revert to the city. So get charged, skip a court date, get a warrant, come back, spend the day, spend the weekend in jail. That's the city paying for it. So just something to consider if it's not a state charge.
Yeah, I think we could fashion it with exceptions that would say something to the effect of, hey, if it's to go to watch your child play soccer or something, that's an exception, but you have to be with your child and your spouse or something. We can craft it any way we want, but I understand that concern.
So we can do that.
Yeah, you don't want a little kid saying, "Oh, my dad can't come here because my dad's a registered sex offender." And there's varying degrees of sex offenders, right? I do this for a living. There's a guy that slept with somebody when he was 21 and she was 15, right? There's that, and then there's somebody that sexually molested children, like flat out. And they did their time, and it's been a few years. I don't want those people in the park at all. But if you're significantly away from the offense time and it's your child and it's their soccer game, I'm not doing it, making the exception for that person. I'm doing it for the kid. I don't want the kid to have to explain to his teammates why.
So does that mean if we host an event, for example, Brew Bash,
Yeah.
and the family wants to come there, the person that is an offender cannot come?
You can fashion it how you want. I would say no. Last thing I want is a sex offender mixing alcohol like at our park. Like, no thanks. You forfeited that right, at least for the term of your registration, which is 15, 25 in life, depending if you're tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. But I think for like a soccer game, it's your child and you want to go watch the game, I don't think we should be arresting them for that. There should be some exception. But
Yeah, I think a good starting point is to have me submit a draft, and you guys can chew on that draft and see what you think, and work through it. We can take our time with it and come up with what's going to be the best solution for the city.
Yeah, the email referenced that the state recently passed Senate Bill 422, which prohibited certain tier 2 and 3 sex offenders from knowingly entering schools, preschools, child care premises, things to that nature. So I don't know if we want to consider just the higher tiers.
yeah, something to talk about, sure, yeah.
Yeah, what I'd like to see, honestly, would be, similar legislation other cities have passed. Maybe a quick pros and cons. As the chief said, what's the liability to the city if we pass that ordinance? Is there financial liability? Is there, legal liability? And then maybe a draft of what you think is appropriate, and we can chew on it.
I can put something together for you all. Just give me some time, and I can get something done.
Yeah, no rush. So whatever you find out.
Mr. Grandin, you mentioned the city of Middleburg Heights in here. I said Broadview. Middleburg's statute is different. I think Middleburg went above and beyond, and they started banning, and I have to look and see how what's going on with it now, where they actually banned people with violent convictions as well, and that's a little bit more. That's taking into account, arguably, if that's considered a DC, a violent offense. Disorderly conduct, misdemeanor assault, misdemeanor DV4. I mean, that is a different level of which I don't necessarily recommend we go that route.
Yeah, no, I'm just suggesting sex offenders that prey on children and adult rape cases, things like that, not all offenses of violence.
Question. I was just wondering about this particular property here, the city center property, where we have obviously some things that are child-oriented, like the splash pad and the new playground, and how would we differentiate? Like, we also have the city hall here, we have the fire station here, would just be the area where the children would be?
A sample piece, I'm just pulling up what another city has done. It essentially says, no registered sex offender shall enter or remain in any park, playground, ball field, restroom facility, pavilion, recreation facility, and/or community center owned or controlled by the city and used for park and recreation purposes. If that kind of answers your question, but I think the best way to start this is to me to get something for you guys to look at, make your edits, and you can come back and have a more fruitful conversation.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, moving on. Item E, discuss policy statutes regarding arming select city staff. Mr. Mishnak.
Thank you. I wanted to put this on an agenda based on what happened in one of our neighboring communities where one of the administrative staff was attacked by a disgruntled citizen over zoning and regulations that were being enforced against him, and he came and shot that administrator, killed him. That necessitated discussion where I sort of asked the mayor, well, what do we have, here for our employees until the police arrive, should there be an emergent situation where they're under immediate threat of death or serious bodily harm. And we talked about that for a bit, and so we wanted to put it onto an agenda to publicly discuss it. I'm suggesting that we consider a volunteer program subject to the mayor sort of overseeing who would be armed, who would not be, how many people, but that they go through and council fund and pay for, formalized training, significant training, like maybe 10, 20 hours worth of training. I know a lot of officers that have side businesses where they go around to different communities and teach these things. They do a lot of school stuff. They do a lot of city stuff. I just realized we don't have a policy in Streetsboro for City Hall on that, or for other city buildings, and I think we should have a policy in place. I think the best defense against a horrible situation like that is the police, but, when seconds matter, police are minutes away, right? That's just the reality of time and distance. So I would like to see that we authorize a volunteer only, somebody could volunteer, or multiple people, whatever the mayor thought was appropriate, to have at least somebody shooting back if somebody comes in to try and do a mass shooting to these folks, that there's at least one or two or three or four that are trained. They have access to a weapon. The weapon's stored safely. It's somewhere they can get to quickly, but not just laying around. And that I'm just envisioning like a handgun or pistol with enough bullets to, either kill a shooter or hold that person off until the cavalry arrives. I'd hate to see our folks just sitting underneath a wooden desk, hoping and praying that they don't come to their office. So I know I work in government. There's so many people armed. If you came to our office, it would be seconds before you're getting shot at yourself. Yes, is a mass shooter going to always get a few people? Yeah. If they want to and they got the element of surprise, you're gonna kill the first few people they want to kill. Usually the mayor, but sorry, mayor. But there needs to be a way for people to protect themselves, and you're your own best defense. But I don't want to just say, hey, bring your gun to work day, right? I want to see folks trained. I want to see folks in safe handling of firearms and accuracy. Maybe the law department can educate on lethal force and that sort of thing. So that was my idea. I don't know how other employees feel. I don't know what union implications it would have. I haven't considered any of that. I just don't want to see us have a situation where somebody comes in for a meeting with John and his cheery disposition causes them to shoot John, right? And then everyone else in the building, because why not, right? So I was a little surprised to hear maybe we didn't have a policy. I've been on enough councils, and I thought we would have a policy. So, but really, it's down to the mayor. I think he's the chief law enforcement officer in the city. He's also in charge of the building safety. If he's against it, then obviously I'd respect that. But if he's okay with it, I wish council to fund it, the training, and then leave the administration of it, how it works and who has them, to be up to the mayor. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Mr. Grandetti, I know we had a brief discussion. Can you expound on just some of the obstacles of creating this type of legislation?
Yeah, well, first of all, there isn't necessarily any direct legal authority. You would have to kind of start to create your own, for starters, but there is a lot of insurance implications in any regard, in any way you slice this or look at this. No matter what happens, the city would theoretically be on the hook. I have reached out to our insurance when I saw this item come on our agenda, and obviously it's not something that they would be thrilled with us doing. In a sense, you're taking people who don't have the vocation to be a law enforcement officer and putting them in a position where they may view themselves as having responsibility to go out and save lives that do not have that training or backbone or fortitude for it, which then in turn creates other legal issues like, why did we do this? Why did we do this route instead of just necessarily thinking of other options that are less legally complex, such as metal detectors, buzzing in, maybe armed security guards that do have peace officer training or certification. Those things, this is not an easy solution legally. This require a lot of work to delve into all the nuances of not only what a volunteer program would look like, what type of waivers, identification agreements would be, what type of training, what type of psychological assessment. On top of, what if that person, or there's a dispute amongst employees? What if someone gets terminated at the job? What if there's an accidental discharge? There is just a lot that can go wrong. It's not an easy, snap, quick decision to make. It's something that is going to require, at least from our law department, a lot of time to fully investigate the best ways that, we can protect ourselves if we were to delve into, creating a policy like this. What may be a better alternative is perhaps maybe council can look into hiring a security consultant to see, well, what are our weaknesses and what are our strengths? What are some things that we can do and start from there before we go to that option? But I'm not the legislative body. I'm just the legal advisor. My advice is that if we wanted to explore this further, I would need significantly more time. I think there's only one municipality in this state that has a publicized program, and it's Lebanon. And I believe what they do is they allow everyone, right, citizens and their employees, to openly carry or concealed carry within their city hall. So this isn't something that's necessarily common either. So there's just a lot going on with this from the top down that needs to be really thoroughly examined before we go forward.
Is the schools program, is that statutory?
The
One that allows the
school-
schools to have armed people? That's a statute, right?
The schools require training. There has to be training, and the schools do when they apply for their insurance. It is actually on their application if they're engaged in this program or not. There was a recent Supreme Court decision regarding schools in this, and I believe that the court essentially said there must be mandated a training. It can't just be you can just walk in with a gun as a teacher. There has to be training. So I would imagine that as a municipality, as a city hall, if theoretically, and I'm not suggesting we do, but theoretically, if we were to go that route, we would have to do some sort of training program as well.
The schools, our school system actually implements that program. And there are armed
And they're trained.
staff members and they're trained, yeah. Which is, I was just looking to mirror that. Do you get a break on your insurance if you have this, or do you get charged more?
I think I would imagine you'd be charged more because I think that there's probably a lot more that can go wrong than can go right in situations like this.
And the insurance companies aren't liable for intentional torts. So when somebody comes in and kills everyone, they get a clean bill of health. The insurance company doesn't have to pay for the intentional torts of a maniac, right?
Well, I'm not, I mean, the maniac, the shooter is just one potential thing that could happen.
Yeah, they're worried about NDs and negligent discharges and things like that. Right, but they don't really care that, or even are concerned with protecting the people in the building. That's my concern. Can't John park his car? I'm picking on John tonight. Can't John park his car over here, leave his AR-15 in it, stored appropriately, go to work all day, come back out and get it? Didn't that go to the House Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court already? And they said that is constitutional right as long as it doesn't enter the building.
I'm not familiar with that case, but I can
Yeah.
look into it. I mean, this is one of the, this is like,
It just seems silly that I know for a fact that they can pull into the parking lot with their gun as long as it's lawfully carried. They have to, if there's a policy against carrying in the building, they have to leave it in the car, and we cannot ban them from having it in the parking lot. It just seems silly to me that if they can get it that close, all of those concerns about going off, getting fired are, so what? They just walk out to their car and come back in. I would like to see some sort of program similar to what the schools have in place. Pay the extra insurance, pay for the training, let the mayor run it. I want to give these employees the same chance I have at my work. You know, God forbid somebody comes in, nobody questions whether a prosecutor's office can be armed, right? We have people that hate us, and we're doing things in their lives that make them not mentally stable, and the law doesn't blink, but I think and allows us. I don't think we consider, like this guy's zoning is something, when you take something from somebody, you mess with their property, you fine them, you tax them. If they're mentally unstable or it continues over time, those same dangers that exist for a prosecutor or a police officer exist for administrative officials that are implementing city policies. And I don't want to, I saw that guy get killed and I thought, well, probably got the jump on him, would have got him anyways. God forbid it would have been a time when the building was full, which it wasn't. But if it was, response time here is probably 3 to 4 minutes. You can kill a lot of people in 3 to 4 minutes. And that's a shame. We didn't think about that when we built this building. I looked at this building and did my own quick assessment. I can get through pretty much anywhere, pretty much instantaneously. We don't have tempered glass. We have a lot of glass. You pick up a chair and throw it, you're in wherever you want to be.
I would disagree with that, Mr. Christian.
Well, I think you can get through these doors pretty quick.
We have, all the interior doors are locked. The glass in the two most common areas that the public would be able to get into without being inhibited, we've had thicker glass, better glass that we'll put into there that you're not going to be able to punch through or anything like that.
Can you shoot through it?
Allowed past the main, this door here without an escort. Usually those people are people that are coming here for the building department or for the or for planning or something like that, and they're known to our personnel. We have other measures that are in place that will help us.
I don't think you should go to security measures that we have in place in public forum.
Are you? If you're not supportive of it, I don't intend to pursue it because I don't think it can work unless the mayor's supportive of a program similar to what the school has. If you're not wanting to do that, then I don't. Why? I don't want to bring it up then because it has to come from your office. It has to be implemented. by your office.
I have not had any one of the employees within City Hall that has said that they would like to volunteer to become an armed person. And I'm not going to push any of them.
No, it should be voluntary. Yeah.
With the stuff that Mr. Grandinetti said about the amount of insurance that would increase, if someone wants to off you, they're going to get you. Okay, and we have down at the service department, we had our clerk there was out in wide open, and the day after that situation occurred, I don't know why we didn't think of it before, but things that brought to your mind. I had Billy build her basically an enclosure, and I think you're waiting on the glass now, right? Okay, and so that person person will have some type of a barrier to someone coming in from the outside. When we looked at the possibility of bulletproof glass, the cost on that was absolutely prohibitive. And when you do put bulletproof glass in, not only do you have to put the glass in, but the area below it, where it's open, you have to have some type of a barrier in there, whether it be a steel barrier or whatever the case may be, to stop anything from going through there. We'd also have to have bulletproof glass in all the glass around the outside of the building. And not that we're taking our chances, but we would hope that the stuff that we have in place would give us an adequate safeguard until such time that the police could get here. Someone getting angry and coming in and wanting to beat someone up, we could probably stop them.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that.
Armed with a gun, there might be an issue.
So you're against it?
Huh?
So you're against the idea?
Yeah, if you're against the idea, it's fine. I just wanted to bring it up. It's sort of your decision.
Okay, I really am not, but I'm not going to ask the directors and the employees if they want to be putting that. It's the same thing I told my wife. I says, if I put a gun in your hand, could you pull a trigger and shoot someone to kill them? And she said no. And I said, then you're not getting a weapon, because as soon as I give you a weapon and you can't pull the trigger, that person's going to take the weapon from you and he's going to kill you. And if these folks in here can't look at themselves and say, hey, I can pull that trigger, okay, to defend myself and defend my colleagues, then I'm not gonna pursue that.
I know that you could. And do you carry sometimes when you're here?
I am licensed to carry concealed, and I will neither confirm nor deny.
That's fine. That's a fair answer. You're not under oath. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I thought, what do we have? Like, what do we have in place? And when I realized we didn't have anything in place and they didn't have that option other than to keep their gun in the car. And I'm sure you have employees that have firearms in their vehicles during the workday. And I'm sure those people, if there was no fear of reprisal, would want to be able to arm themselves while in the building, or at least have it in a safe in their office somewhere or something. But if there was none, then fine. But I find it hard to believe there's not one person. I know you would carry if there was a policy. And I would think there are a few others I know of that would want to with the proper training. But if you don't want to do it for insurance or whatever, I respect that. I just wanted to talk about it after that shooting happened nearby.
I will tell you this, Mr. Mishniak, I will do everything in my power to protect my employees.
I know you would. I don't doubt that at all. Except maybe pass the statute. That's within your power.
Mary Ann?
I have a question. If we did create such a policy, what would be the negative if we had a policy and then people wouldn't know if anyone was armed or not? At least there would be the possible concern that there could be someone armed here. Whether they are or not, I mean, the policy would allow that.
Well, if we create a policy, then we're going to have to insure on the policy.
Correct. No, I understand that, but I'm saying that, whether someone's armed or not, we still could create the policy so someone could be armed.
I don't think that people that commit mass shootings necessarily think rationally.
Yeah.
Or logically. They may not do their homework. They may not research the security points. I'm not trying to debate with you necessarily. This is just it's not a simple statute. It's a lot more than that, because you're not only talking about creating changing your employee handbook, changing that, coming up with new contracts, identification agreements, waivers, insurance, and you're dealing with also not only the fear of the what ifs, but someone's not really that, like I said, vocation. People didn't come here to be a clerk and say, well, I want to do this. That's why I think that a better solution might be using an armed security guard, if that were the case. Or metal detectors are being busted in. Or, like I said, maybe talking to a security consulting group and seeing what they recommend. So So there's a lot of layers to this onion. It's not just a black and white issue.
And I didn't
Yeah.
mean to say it was mutually, those things are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
That's sort of a false characterization of what I said. It's not an either or, and you're characterizing it as that. And you could do both. I mean, it's all what we want to do. If the mayor doesn't feel comfortable doing it, it's not possible, and I respect that. I just wanted to see what we had in place and kind of go from there. That's all I have, I guess.
Another thought, kind of spinning off of that, is what if we just had a metal detector with someone, like again, the armed guard kind of an idea there, where everyone that came in here would have to go through the metal detector. You know, they do that in other areas. No, I don't know about necessarily city halls, but you go in any kind of court system, they put you right through that type of thing. So if we're comparing that to what it would cost to insure to have employees armed.
Yeah, that's a good point. What would be the comparison between cost of the two things? Yeah, that's a huge deterrent when there's one open entry point that has a metal detector and a security guard during business hours. That's a huge deterrent, right? And if it's way cheaper than the insurance to have armed staff, then yeah. Or maybe they're cheaper than we think. I have no idea how much insurance would go up.
Thank you. So, which building do we do it? I mean, we have multiple buildings. We're just going to focus on City Hall and forget about the rest? I mean,
I
where do you
don't
draw
know.
the line?
What do you think? What would you do? Mayor Tony for the day, what would you do?
I would not be arming anybody, for one. I would,
That's because you're a firefighter.
yeah. I used to fire hose. But I don't know. I think this is something that we have to have maybe a workshop on or talk more about. Everybody has so many ideas here, and we're not going to get them all in tonight for sure, but I still have to think about it. I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I agree. I think one of the things that is a good idea is hiring retired police. A lot of them retire in their 40s, 50s, and are still active and know a lot of things, and have them, if you're that concerned, have them stuck at the door right
You put them in every building?
You could, yeah. It depends on what you want to spend. You got to know what your budget is. So if you're going to put them in every building, you got to know what you're going to spend. You're going to be spending money.
You're looking at
for,
$250,000 to
police
$500,000
officer.
a year.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm just talking City Hall right now.
so I
Doing nothing is doing something, though. I mean, we're in it. This is foreseeable. Something like this happening is foreseeable, and for us to do nothing does not absolve us.
I think some of us need, like, I need more time to think about it.
I think we just need time to look into different options and cost comparisons on different options and things out there to try and figure out what the best option is for the city. Any other discussion on that? Okay, moving on. Number 6, citizens' comments reference any of the items we just discussed. Anybody? 7, announcements. A service committee meeting will immediately follow this meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this meeting has been adjourned.
Ready? I'd like to call the Service Committee meeting of Monday, August 10th, 2026 to order. Carolyn, can you please call roll? Here.
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 Motion to excuse Mr. Hannon?
Second?
First and second, excuse Mr. Hannon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, Mr. Hannon is excused. Item 3, disposition of minutes. There are none. Item 4, old business. There is none. Item 5, new business. Item A, T8046, accept 2026 second quarter code updates. Ms. Kramer.
This is our usual quarterly updated codes. This is only 2 topics that were updated. Sign code and the board of solicitors are in this updating. The hard copies have already been distributed. This is our standard. I didn't turn it off. It must have timed off. So, okay, sorry, thanks.
If there's
No further discussion. I'll make a motion to move tonight's full council.
Second.
First and a second to move this item to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this item has been moved. Item B, T8047, go out to bid for police station roof replacement. Mr. Bill Miller.
Yeah, I'd like to get permission to go out to bid for the roof replacement, not only the shingle roof, but the flat roof. It was over the threshold of getting 3 bids, so I would like to publicly get it out to bid. Still get it completed this year.
Any discussion?
No further discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and a second to move this item to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this item has been moved. Item C, T8048, RFQ for Owners Representative Design Review Services for Frost Road. Mr. Gardnetti.
Thank you. This is a piece that's seeking qualifications for another engineering firm that it may be necessary to use another outside engineering firm to be our owner's representative, depending on how the Frost Road process goes. So we have to go for an RFQ for the design process. And if BPD does the design process, then we're going to probably need to use an owner's rep to look over and oversee things. So we're trying to get everything done as efficiently as possible. So that's before you tonight.
Any discussion?
No further discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
First and a second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this item has been moved. Mr. Kaufman has requested that we remove item B, T8049, go out to bid to purchase copiers. He said he no longer needs that on the agenda. So, moving on to item E, T8050, decommission and dispose of unneeded skate park equipment. Ms. Edgar.
Yes, so with our new plan for the skate park that's getting installed in the beginning of September, with this, we can get rid of the old equipment that's reached the end of its useful life.
Discussion? No.
No further discussion. I'll make a motion
You
to.
have discussion?
So what are we doing with this equipment? Are we scrapping it or?
Correct. Yep.
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to the next full council.
Second.
First and a second to move this item to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this item has been moved. Item 6, citizens' comments, or anything that we've just discussed. I don't see any. Item 7, announcements. The Special Finance Committee meeting will immediately follow this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
First and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
You got your vocal cords ready? Ready? Make a motion, or not make a motion. I'd like to call the Special Finance Committee meeting of Monday, August 10th to order. Caroline, please call roll.
Mr. Lampa.
Here.
Ms. Glenn.
Here.
Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
Ms. Wagner. Mr. Ring.
Here.
Mr. Hanson. Mr. Mishniak.
Here.
Motion. Mr. Hannon.
Second.
First and second to excuse Mr. Hannon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, he's excused. Item 3, special business, AT8051, assign Layer 0 TIF funds for reimbursement for public infrastructure. Mr. Amalia.
Good evening. As part of the deal that we made with Layer 0 when they took over the former City Hall at 55-5 Frost, or subtract a 5 from that, 55-5 Frost, they were already building a massive extension onto their Phillip Parkway land. The C-suite moved over to our old City Hall offices, and they needed a way to safely get across the street there. Spent 4 years there. You don't want to cross Phillip. But we needed to install a crosswalk and some sidewalk so that the C-suite executives could walk back and forth to the plant. The cost of that was about $120,000. The TIF that we have on top of this property from the expansion of 120,000 square feet from the Phillip Parkway expansion, there's new tax dollars generated. We're not harming the schools. This is just basically us deferring those dollars into a separate account. That $120,000 will be used to pay them back for that public infrastructure improvement. Are there any questions?
Any discussion from council?
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second, move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Item B, T8052, authorized TIFs for Stainless Works and for Gap Park. Mr. Amalia.
Thank you. As part of the creation of the upwards of 750 new jobs at Layer Zero, we have to put in a specialized, a dedicated right-hand turn lane on the intersection of Phillip and Frost. Using a TIF on Gebhardt and Stainless Works, again, this is a non-school TIF. This does not affect school tax collections in any way, shape, or form. What this will do is allow us once again to create a public infrastructure fund for the payment of that improvement. The cost of that is estimated to be about $1 million, about $1.25 million. The department has already received $250,000 from the Ohio Department of Transportation and another $575,000 from Jobs Ohio, so that we're cutting down our exposure on that significantly. We can use these TIF dollars to pay ourselves back for the portion that we will be incurring.
Any discussion from council?
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Item C, T8053, authorized CRA agreement with Stainless Works. Mr. O'Malley.
Thank you. We are tonight considering the property tax exemption for a 39,000 square foot addition for Stainless Works. There will basically, if you remember where Old City Hall was, there was a vacant field behind us, then there was Stainless Works, and then there's another vacant field. Stainless Works has secured that vacant field in between them and the Blanchard operation, Lang Grinding. They're going to add a 39,000 square foot addition to that. All we're doing is basically saying that 39,000 square feet gets a reduction of the taxes that they would otherwise normally owe. They're investing substantially into that project, creating a couple of new jobs, but most importantly, retaining the payroll that already exists here within our limits. Are there any questions?
Any discussion?
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved.
Thank you.
Right, announcements. The regular council meeting will immediately follow this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
First and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Make a motion to reconvene regular council meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second to reconvene in regular council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are reconvened into regular council. Item 3, disposition of minutes. There are none. Item 4, citizens' comments. I know there were some citizens here tonight that may want to comment on some topics within the city, so if you want to come up and state your name and address.
My name is Jeremy DeGamarino. I live at 9337 Briar Drive. I'm opposed to the flock cameras. I don't think that's a good idea, and I think that it would be great if our city was one to stand up and put a foot down on it. You're making all your community the enemy. There's no reason for that. My Ring doorbell works just fine. If I tell it I don't want to see squirrels, dogs, cats, it won't. It'll just see people if that's all I want it to see. Why wouldn't we create a system where it only tags and locates and tracks the criminals? Why is it tracking everybody? My mom, my sister, my dogs, why is it tracking everything going on in the neighborhood when it's for the criminals, it's for safety? How much safer could it be if everybody in the community could look on there and see that this officer is looking for this murderer and this is the truck he's driving and this is his plate number? And now I can call and say, that truck's in the next door. It's in the driveway. It just drove past my house. Now you've created a whole entire community that's keeping itself safe rather than we'll take care of you and you don't know who we're looking at. Then you have situations where officers are tracking their ex-girlfriends and boyfriends and husbands and wives, and you know, this cop gets a hair up his butt about this guy, and he's going to go see where he's at and what he's doing for whatever reason, because everybody has a different issue with somebody somewhere at some time. And I just don't think that that's fair. I don't think anybody wants it. That's all I got to say.
All right, thank you for that. Anyone else have any comments? I think this gentleman here was coming up. Hello, sir.
My name is Clyde Ream, 1178 Handy Drive. I want to address the flock cameras discussion because I don't think everybody realizes the magnitude of which it's monitoring us. It's monitoring to the point of details of a dent in your car. If you're walking down the street and you walk your dog the same path every day, they can document that path. They can, and it's a great tool if everybody was honest. But no matter what, power tools like this end up in wrong hands. The wrong people are using it to survey us. Your children's patterns in the day walking to school, that will be recorded, that will be documented and kept in data centers. This is critical for us to understand the magnitude of which we are being monitored. Criminals are going to be out there no matter what. But when you give that kind of power tool to higher up officials, abuse will happen. And we need to take that into consideration before you vote on this and put these into place. I really appreciate your attention to this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Come on up, sir. I know you know the drill.
Paul, 8749 Seasons Road. I wasn't at the last council meeting, so I apologize if I bring up anything that was spoken about there about the flocks. I originally spoke about how much surveillance there is and with our phones and everything. A lot of that, I believe, though, is our individual choice. I think a lot of the discussion about the flocks is that it's not your individual choice. You're going to work, or it's everybody that happens to go past it, and that's a concern. I think of council, I don't know if it was brought up about any restrictions or length of time to keep the data or any of those things. But what you may consider, especially since you're spending $63,000 on this, is doing a review after 4 months or 6 months and having a report of how many times the information was accessed, what entities, it doesn't have to be names or whatever, what entities accessed it, and what was the outcome of those, to see what kind of value there is in this. Is it really worth spending that much money for someone to store the data when our police work could do the same thing without spending $63,000? I don't know. But if you had a review after 4 months and just presented to council, which would be public information anyway, I would imagine, and see how effective they were. If they had the result that you were all expecting, if indeed they are put in place. Just something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have something to say?
Matt Jesky, 1213 Andy Drive. I'm fundamentally opposed to the flock cameras. It's a overreach into privacy. If a business has cameras in their store and you don't like it, then you don't go there. If someone has cameras on their house and you don't like it, you don't go there. We don't have the option to never leave our houses and be tracked and monitored and watched everywhere we go. Everyone that lives in Streetsboro, everyone that works in Streetsboro, everyone that comes here for lunch, no one wants to be monitored and tracked and watched and followed. And when it is being done on a mass scale like this, it crosses a line beyond individuals wanting to protect their property and becomes just unwarranted surveillance.
All right, thank you. Good evening.
My name is Jacob Tanzas. I live at 1312 Shawnee Trail. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm here tonight to urge you to vote no on the flock cameras. These systems do far more than help catch criminals. They create a permanent searchable record of movements of every resident and visitor who drives past them without a warrant, without individualized suspicion, without a meaningful limit. That data does not stay local. Flock's network has repeatedly allowed outside agencies, including federal immigration authorities, to search local police data, even when cities explicitly prohibited it. Dozens of communities across the country have already canceled or rejected contracts after discovering unauthorized sharing, national lookup settings turned on without their knowledge, and data used in ways that they never approved. We've also seen documented cases of officers misusing the system to stalk romantic partners and exes. Security researchers have found flock cameras streaming live footage to open internet. The technology is expanding beyond license plates into broader AI surveillance. This is not a narrow public safety tool. It is a mass surveillance infrastructure that treats every law-abiding resident as a potential suspect. Once the cameras and the data sharing agreements are in place, real control is extremely difficult to regain. Other cities, more than 50 so far, including Los Angeles, California, very big city, have looked at the same evidence and walked away. We should do the same. Protecting public safety does not require surrendering the privacy and autonomy of everyone who lives here. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any more comments before we move on?
My name is Collins David Kane. I'm at 1738 State Route 303, apartment 81, Streetsboro. I was here at the last hearing. I wanted to ask, so I know the last council, it came to light that the contracts had not been read for these flock cameras. Has that happened? I was just wondering about if people read the, no? Okay, so we still haven't read the contracts for the flock cameras. And then I also just want to thank you for bringing a flock representative. I don't know whose decision that was. Thank you, because I actually had a really good conversation with him, and he gave me a lot of resources to go on and to look into. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And I just want to say I urge you to take notice to all the people who went out of their way to come here tonight. We just sat through, 3 other meetings just to stay here, just to talk about flock cameras. And I hope you realize that this might be a thing that more people than you initially thought have strong feelings about. So with that in mind, thank you for having me, and I'll be here with you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on up, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Katie Scott, 9996 Highland. First, I want to say thank you. It's been so long since I came to a meeting, and it's really nice to see all the thoughtful dialogue that you put into all the decisions that you make, and I really appreciate that. I came to discuss the flock issue as well, but I did not come to discuss anything regarding whether I believe it's right or wrong, morally or legally or constitutionally. What I'm concerned about are the security issues that are related. And forgive me because I wasn't at the previous meeting, so I don't know if this has been discussed. But there were over 50 significant security vulnerabilities exposed in the flock system at the end of 2025, and verified to still be in existence in 2026. A great many of those issues have not been resolved. I'm going to be transparent that one of the sites that I'm referencing is called SimeonOnSecurity.com. So that's SIMEON, then another ON, security.com. An excellent breakdown of the security vulnerabilities that I'm talking about. And just to give you a basic of what some of them include, the button press wireless access, that was the number one. So on the back of these flock cameras is a button that can be pressed by anybody. And within 30 seconds of pressing that button, that bad actor has the ability to access the wireless access point root shell. Accessing the root shell means that they have the keys to the kingdom. They are able to see all the files. They're able to delete files. They are able to modify parts of files. This is not, okay, so this is a physical security issue at every single camera. And there are things that people could potentially say they would do, like the normal height for these cameras is 7 feet. So somebody would only need to step on a step ladder to get there. And we've already seen that there has been a lot of flock camera damage going on across the country where people are going and physically damaging or removing flock cameras, so that them being able to push a button is not out of the realm of possibility. And the information age is here that anybody could look and do a simple Google search and find out how to exploit this vulnerability on any camera. And this is just the first one. Before I start getting into more vulnerabilities, what I want to address is that from an economic standpoint, to me, this is not a $63,000 decision. This is a decision where we are taking responsibility for the data of every single person that is in view of these cameras and their vehicles, etc. And that's not something that we as a city have been experienced in doing. We are not data stewards of mass data on our citizens. We've never done that before. I haven't heard anything that says we are hiring 3 people that are going to be dedicated to this security all day, every day. And I want you to understand that Flock began in 2017 as a startup and is now a $7 billion company. And this $7 billion company has not managed to fix its own security vulnerabilities. So our overconfidence in thinking that we'll just be able to do our settings, as per the guide that they provided us and leave us in the free and clear would not be a safe assumption. And I care very much about this city. I am not anti-cop. My father was a career police officer. I'm not anti-AI. I work with it all day, every day. I am about responsible decision-making when it comes to AI and data steward. And so I want to make sure that I get these on the table because I understand that it's set to be voted on tonight, but I'm hoping that when I bring up this information that we can at least put off the vote and have a plan in place to make sure that we are protecting our citizens and also our city, because I did some research and granted, I'm not an attorney, never trained in that way, but what I found is that it seemed to be very reasonable that we could be held responsible for the data breaches. Flock is in charge of the hardware, we are in charge of the data. And the settings that they give us, they don't fully protect us. And I'm not even sure that they're giving you the information that you need to make the quality decisions. Another one of these security issues is the fact that they do not force 2FA or multi-factor authentication. If you're not familiar with that, it's like when you go on your bank site and it says, oh, we have to send you a text or an email too. That's required for a bank because banks are held to a higher security standard. It is not required for flock data. And it's very interesting that it's not required because I'm a programmer. It would be relatively little code job to switch it from being an option to making it required. And the fact that they haven't is a very telling thing. And what a lot of people in the tech world are surmising is that it is intentionally left there as a backdoor because the way that it works is that credentials are shared with federal authorities, whether that's, Border Patrol or immigration or whatever. When credentials are shared willingly, then anybody can come in and it can be called a breach. And it doesn't have to show that it was the federal government and that they were piggybacking on the user credentials of a city like ours. And I'm not saying we would do that. I'm just saying I don't know if anyone here even knows why it would be so important to have multi-factor authentication in place. I'm not sure how much information that they give you about security. All right, so moving on to another problem, the outdated Android system. All right, so this is not a software problem. This is not something that they could push out an update to our cameras and solve. Their entire system is built on an operating system that hasn't been updated since 2021. And not only has it not been updated, it's out of security. Nobody's looking to patch it. There is no future for it. So what happens when we buy these, and then enough, cities or agencies or whatever are under the gun to change to get systems that have less vulnerability? Now we've got $63,000 worth of cameras that we have to replace, and I don't know if there's anything that Flock provides us that says, hey, we have these flaws. As soon as we come out with the new stuff that doesn't have the flaws, you're going to get it free of charge. I don't believe that's how tech companies work. They make a lot of money by continually having you have to upgrade to the next version. And so I want to make sure to put it in everybody's heads that this is not a $63 decision, not in terms of the hardware that we're buying, because inevitably it will need to be upgraded. Once we get on this train, we're going to be on this train on an ongoing basis. The thought that we would go, oh, okay, now we're not going to use Flock anymore, probably slim. So we want to make good decisions, and we need to be aware that there are some really big players that we would be up against. The ACLU is coming down really hard on the other side of Flock, mostly, I believe, due to the immigration concerns or that sort of thing. But regardless of their reasons, they have some very, very deep pockets. And so they would look at agencies like ours and be able to know that we have, brought in the system and that we have all these vulnerabilities and be able to sue us or help others sue us. And I still have a little bit of PTSD about the Sabra Farms thing. And so I just want to make sure that we're knowing the gravity of the decisions that we make when it talks about dealing with all of this personal data, because we talk about all the positive things that can be done, but the harms that can be done with the wrong actors getting hold of this data is just as bad, and something that we could potentially be responsible for, because there is so much data out there that says this is a flawed system. You have 404media.co, you have SimeonOnSecurity.com. If you look up the name Ben, B-E-N-N, Jordan, he had discovered a lot of the security flaws. So I'm not coming here to say don't ever do flock. I'm just coming here to say that I'm not sure that anybody has talked about all these things and made plans for the very big responsibility that we would have in protecting data of the citizens and visitors to the city.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any more comments before we go on to the third reading of the purchase of the flock cameras? All right, first I want to thank everyone for coming. Chief, go ahead.
If I can, there's a few things I would like to respond to, and I understand people have their minds made up and opinions made. You know, for what it's worth, I appreciate everybody coming. I know there's a lot of concerns about flock, and some of the things that were said, I just want to clarify. So this is kind of disjointed. I was taking some notes as people were talking. One of you mentioned about we're going to be following people when they're walking their dogs and patterning children, and that is not what these cameras do. These are strictly focused at roadway. They are looking at vehicle plates and vehicle descriptions. The cameras I believe that you are referring to are called condor cameras. Those are surveillance cameras. Those are the cameras that you can see at parks and shopping complexes and business centers. But those are tracking people as they're walking through. It's an added level of security that, say, a Polaris or Easton down in Columbus or a Legacy Village might use because they have significant areas of crime. Those are pan-tilt zoom cameras. That is not what a flock camera is. These are focused at the road, and where they are focused is where they stay. As far as the misuse, there are officers out there that are misusing them, and you're finding out about that because they're being criminally charged and they're being fired from their jobs. That is because departments are taking it seriously. This equipment is no different than our leads that we use. We have access to more information than most people are probably aware of. This is a tool that we can use to solve crimes. Nobody in my department cares where you're going to shop. They don't care where you're going. The only thing that we're looking for is to be able to solve the crimes for victims that we can't solve them for. We have had hit skips with significant injury that we can't solve because we have no way to track down the car that was involved. Prosecutor Michniak spoke, Councilman, tonight, spoke about a judge from Ravenna whose house was shot up. They solved that crime because they had flock cameras. That's the only reason they solved that crime. That house was shot up and there was a kid in the house. The only reason they found who did that was because they had the flock cameras. There has been kidnapping victims found, Amber Alert victims found. They've also used the cameras to find any number of people with Alzheimer's, dementia, medical issues that drove away. There was a case a couple weeks ago where a family member had left a affair and they assumed that she was going to be found somewhere local. She was found hours away down by Cincinnati, and the only reason they found her at the time was because of the flock cameras. I'm not sure. I don't know where she went. Ma'am, while you were speaking, I did some checking online with flock, and according to the flock rep, there is no button on the back of them that you can touch and access the data off the cameras. They are CJIS compliant. They have been third-party tested for safety and security. Is anything 100% bulletproof? It's not, but if the feds and CJIS say that they are secure, that's the same compliance rate that we have to meet for leads, which leads has everything. Leads has got your social, your birthday, it has where you live, it has all the tickets that you've been issued, any suspensions that you have, it has all your warrant data. All that has to be CJIS compliant. and Flock is CJIS compliant. As far as purchasing new cameras, this is a lease, basically a lease fee for these cameras because people are trying to damage them and do what they're doing to them. So it's not something that we are stuck with when the contract or when the lease is up. I appreciate all the strong feelings. I will say we have roughly 18,000 residents in the city, and we do have a group here, but we also have 18,000 people that haven't said anything about it. And it is an amazing tool. Again, are officers misusing it? Yeah, they have. But that is why there's always problems everywhere.
Mr. President, I'm going to call point of order.
Thank you.
You don't
Point of order.
Thank you. Chief, thank you for.
I do have one more thing.
Okay.
Flock in there, as they are continuing to try and improve and prevent issues, they have also added a new section, a new ability for a review for supervisors, just trying to make it easier to catch the issues. The only reason that anybody knows that officers are misusing it is because we are taking it seriously. We vet our officers, we train them, and you're not going to see it in my department. It's not something that we tolerate. If it was, if I wanted your information, I could have it. I mean, that's the problem, is everybody's focusing on Flock, but license plate readers have been around for, I would say, roughly about 15 years. I'm not sure why Flock is getting all the grief, because there's multiple license plate readers out there.
Thank you, Chief, for that. Thank you for the residents for coming.
I got my hand up.
Mr. Mishnak, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to echo her comments. I think there's 3 people in the room, there may be more, but I think 3 that have actually had any experience with Flock and worked with it. I know Jennifer has, the Chief has, and myself. Yeah. So I think our experience have been on what I think what Katie talked about is the positive side of the good things it can do. I have like zero beef with the bad possibilities that are out there that you've all mentioned. I join you in that. I have those same concerns. And Katie, nobody has really brought up to us about, from your expertise, the vulnerabilities of the system itself. And those are all, I think, valid concerns. I don't want to lose in the discussion, just how much of an assist this is to law enforcement to solve serious crimes. And from my experience, what I've seen, I haven't seen in my own limited experience the bad side of it. Like I wouldn't see if somebody hacked the system. Why would they share that with me, right? Why would they share a data breach with me? I wouldn't know about it. What I do know is that the judge's house was shot up with no idea who did it. The case was broke simply because of Flock camera data. Had attempted kidnappings in this county that were solved by Flock cameras. And partially a serial rapist that was in a multi-county area captured in part because of Flock cameras. There are story after story after story outside the county even that you could talk about felonious assault shootings. That doesn't discount the concerns. Those concerns are there for data breach and misuse, and I don't have any beef at all with those concerns. I just think that my experience actually working with it, Jennifer's experience, the Chief's experience, it's all been positive. That's not to say that Flock cameras are all positive, but the use that I've seen has made the city safer. There's a huge deterrent effect on criminals when your city has Flock cameras. It's just there. There's a huge deterrent effect to come in unless they're going to steal the plate and put a plate on it. What I have not seen in my experience is somebody tracking me or you, or could they with a data breach? Heck yeah. But But I'm almost at the point where I'm like, everything you're worried about in Flock, Steve, is already on your phone, right? They know everything I buy, everything I watch, everything I look at, everything I say. And I'll never be convinced that every single thing I do everywhere I go isn't on a server somewhere under my profile and quickly accessible by the right security clearances of the federal government, not the state level, but the feds. That's why they have social media, right? It's to track all of us. And so all the things we're afraid of are already there tenfold in your phone. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a phone, I'm with you. If we could go back to sticks and stones, brother.
Excuse me, we listen to everyone in the audience. If we can just let everyone else have their time.
No, I'm okay if you.
Okay.
I'm okay if he jumps in. I'm not offended, believe me. I get that, but I think your phone gives up so much more data than a flock camera ever would. And if it's being dumped every 30 days, if it actually is, and it's not being stored somewhere, as you guys have suggested it is, I could support that. I wouldn't want the data used for other reasons or added to that federal profile, right? But I also don't want to have the chief have to look at Tony's kids or somebody's kid that's kidnapped and harmed and say, hey, car got away, but it wasn't facing our camera when it went through town. Hold on, you don't need to put your hand up. You'll have time after if Tony gives it to you. I don't want to look at those folks. I've actually dealt with, there's serious crimes that happen in this community that can be prevented and deterred with the use of technology. And it's coming, no matter, we can shoot down flock cameras and it's probably going to fail tonight. But the technology is already here. It's coming in spades with AI over the next few years. Federal cars 2027, 2028 are going to have chips in them and cameras. I mean, it's do we want the feds to have all the information and not the local authorities? There's no escaping it unless we go back to sticks and stones and the way it used to be. And I'd be with you if we could go back to that world, but that world has passed. We're now in a situation where if you put flock cameras up, you're going to deter criminals and you're going to catch criminals. The only people that actually work with flock so far have had positive experiences with it. I'm not discounting the fears; they're real, but I think that we're hamstringing our law enforcement by putting our head in the sand and pretending that we can hide from the technology that's already here. It's on its way, and it's only going to get more intrusive of our privacy, more intrusive of our data. We're not going to own it unless the Supreme Court steps in and does something. I don't have much hope for that. I think corporations own our data. They own our habits. They sell to us. They want to market to us. Really not there to harm us, I don't think, in general. It's there to market to us. And that's why I think we can hide from it now. We could vote it down tonight. But the technology's coming in waves and waves, and we're not going to be able to get away from it. I like what Katie's saying is be safe about it. I never thought, hire somebody to make sure, data breaches happen. That's stuff we didn't consider before. But thank you, Mr. President, for the time. And give him a minute if he wants to respond. I don't like to cut people off without actually.
Thank you, Mr. Mishniak. Yes, sir, come on up. Give you some time to respond. And then we're gonna.
I just want to let everybody know I'm not against catching criminals and stopping violence and everything like that, but we need to understand the magnitude of the power of the tool, and there's bad people in all levels of government, all levels of society. And until you can get regulations and guidelines and protections in place to allow this to move forward is so risky. And I understand the officer, it is a helpful tool for that, but all tools will be abused at some time. Now, you use the discussion to put fear into citizens about, well, the house got shut up, we could prevent.
Those are all true stories. I'm not.
I know it is, but that exists all the time, all over the place. There's always
those
stories
crimes
like
are only solved because of flock. Don't discount that.
But okay, and
they were only solved because of flock.
1930s. What was told to the people to give up their guns and we'll protect you, and what happened? How many people died from that?
Millions, yeah.
Okay.
You're preaching to the wrong guy about a second. I'm with you.
But that's the whole thing.
Thank you, sir.
need to understand that that's the magnitude of what we're dealing with.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you very much for your time, and I apologize for interrupting.
Thank you. Mr. Grant, do you have
Just briefly, and whether or not the city is ready to go ahead and approve the contract for Flock tonight, I can say that to all residents here, you know, I have not only, I've been a defense attorney my whole career. You know, when I went to law school, I wanted to defend people. I wanted to be a rabble-rouser in court and done those things. People need to have faith in the criminal justice system. Judges are neutral. Judges are fair. Magistrates are neutral and fair. There are defense attorneys wanting to defend people's rights. Law cases are before courts probably tens of thousands of times a day with people that are swore oaths to defend the Constitution, litigating them. And as you see, there are no direct cases on point involving search and seizure with Flock, because Flock does not track, it just simply watches the road, the public roads and your vehicle. So that's all I would say, is just to have faith in your criminal justice system, that judges, defense attorneys, and prosecutors, they will uphold the law.
Thank you. Well, one more thing, and then we're going to move on to this vote, okay? Come on up to the podium.
I'm worried that I didn't communicate effectively enough about the security concerns, because I only mentioned two, and one was the button, which sounds like they may have solved. That doesn't mean it didn't exist, and the fact that it did is terrifying. But I want you to know there was also an issue where the universal password was security for all the devices. Security, lowercase, no special anything. That was the universal password. Their API keys were hard-coded in clear text so that you could get access to all the information that is transmitted by APIs. There's a huge list here, but all I'm saying is, please that we include in this ask that we get a security consultant, or that we hire a team, that we do not go about it in such a way that we're not bringing on the expertise we need to make the good decisions. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying let's do it really intelligently and protect ourselves in the process.
Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. Would anyone like to suspend the rules before we move on?
Voting on this first?
We're going to go to,
Why are we doing that? Can we just follow the agenda?
so we're going to skip and go to third read.
Why are we doing that?
Because I asked the law director if we could, so everyone here can,
I mean, why not?
so people can hear what the vote is, so they don't have to hang on, wait anymore.
Oh, you want to get them
Just
out?
get to the third reading.
So we're not making them stay the whole night while we read all this other legislation.
Gotcha, yeah.
Does anyone want to suspend the rules before we move on?
We don't need to suspend.
All right. Item 9, third reading, T8027 flock, purchase flock cameras. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with the Flock Group, Inc. for the purchase of flock cameras.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion adopted. The second, roll call, please.
Mr. Ring.
Before I vote, I think everybody knows where I stand on this. I've stood the same position the entire time, so I may know.
Ms. Lynn.
No.
Mr. Lampa.
Before I vote, I actually wrote down a lot of information that I found out, and I just want to read it because I'm not good at like remembering everything that I want to say. So I wrote it down. So I'm just going to read it to you guys. Since this proposal was introduced, I have received feedback from numerous residents through emails, text messages, conversation, Facebook Messenger, and on social media. While I recognize that not everyone chooses to voice their opinions publicly, most residents who have reached out to me have expressed concerns in opposition to these cameras. When this legislation was first presented, I had very little knowledge about flock cameras, even what they were. However, because this proposal went through 3 reads, I had the opportunity to do my own research. review information from both supporters and opponents, and most importantly, listen to the concerns of our residents. I appreciate that process because it allowed me to make a more informed decision. There are certainly arguments both for and against flock cameras. While supporters point to their potential law enforcement benefits, I have concerns about their accuracy, effectiveness, and the growing number of municipalities across the country that are reconsidering their use. Reports have surfaced of significant license plate misreads, including widely publicized case in Roseville, California. And that was 70% misread in 23 and 24 of plates. And that concerns me. In recent days, communities in Nebraska have moved to remove these systems. A city in Florida has suspended their use, and there is a bipartisan concern by elected officials in Connecticut who are seeking to further evaluate the technology. Personally, I'm not concerned about whether people know where I am driving or where I'm going. However, my responsibility is not to make this decision based solely on my personal views. I was elected to represent the residents of the city and to be their voice. As I weigh the potential benefits against the concerns expressed by many residents, very loudly by the way, regarding privacy and accuracy and government oversight, I concluded that I cannot support this proposal at this time. For those reasons, and based on the feedback I've received from the community I serve, I am voting no.
Ms. Wagner.
Before I vote, yes, I am one of them that use flock cameras. I am a 911 dispatcher, and I have to go with my experience, how I have never seen bad, and I've used them for good. And when someone's screaming on the other end of a 911 call to me, it breaks my heart, and I need to do everything in my power to help them. Until you've been on the other side of one of those calls, it's hard to explain it. And to me, their hope, because we've used them several times to help people, to have solved crimes, to use them to give people what they need, to find someone's grandparent who's gone and is way far away from where they should be. I mean, we've used them for so many good. I have never seen the bad things. I log into them. I do have a two-person authentication when I log in. Some of those things, those security issues you've talked about, they're not there anymore as long as I've used them, and I've used them for several years. Really, we hardly ever use them unless somebody calls and there's a kid's missing, elderly person, different things like that. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate knowing more about what everyone has spoke about, but please appreciate how I have to look at it, and I have to look at it as I'm sitting on the other end of a phone when I have someone hysterical needing help, that their family member's missing, or they just got hit, or there's an accident and there's blood everywhere, and the car took off, and we need to find this car, and we need to get help to these people. That's my outlook on it. So for that reason, I'm voting yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yeah, I already spoke enough. I think everybody knows where I stood. So I just feel they're positive. It does deter crime. It helps solve crime. It's been my experience with actually working with it. But on the other hand, I also agree with what all the residents said tonight. There's a lot of concerns there about data breach. I just haven't seen those things, but why would I see them, right? I'm not on that end of it. I'm on the useful, positive end of flock cameras. I've seen them make communities safer, solve crimes, and deter criminals. That's really what they do. And I, as I hinted at earlier, I don't think you're already giving up your whole life if you're carrying a phone. But completely. Unless you don't. Yeah, if you don't have a phone, then you're not. But, yeah, I'm a yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
No. D8027 fails 4-2.
Are we doing the rest of third reads, or are we going back to first read?
Yeah, rest of the third reading.
Okay, this is the next third reading, 8035. Let me move on.
Yeah.
D8035, amendment chapter 1155, off-street parking and loading requirements. Caroline, please read by title.
This that an ordinance amending Chapter 1155 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Streetsboro relating to parking and loading requirements.
Motion to adopt.
Second. Motion to adopt and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T 8035 passes and becomes ordinance number 26-121. T 8036 amend section 1103.02A 129 rear yard definition. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance amending section 1103.02A 129 of chapter 1103 of the codified ordinances of the city of Streetsboro relating to definitions for rear yards.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
And Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo? Yes. T 8036 passes and becomes ordinance 26-122. All right. Before we get to item 6, would anyone like to suspend the
Yeah, I'll suspend the rules.
We need to do item 5, reports communications from board.
I believe we're doing that after.
Oh, we're doing that
We're
after.
just going to keep going. We're just going to keep on going with legislation.
Okay.
We're already,
I will make a motion to suspend the rules for T 8043, 8044, 8045, 8046, 8047, 8048, 8049.
Nope.
We skipped 49.
Oh, sorry. 8050, 8051, and 8052.
Second.
first and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. Rules are suspended. Item 6, introduction of legislation containing statement of emergency. T 8043, accept forfeited Dodge Ram truck.
An ordinance accepting a vehicle forfeited to the city of Streetsboro as part of the resolution of a criminal matter in the city of Streetsboro and declaring an emergency. I may accept the forfeiture.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T 8043 passes and becomes ordinance 26-123. T 8044, donate dive equipment to Portage County Dive Team. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the disposal of outdated and surplus dive equipment, acknowledging the donation of said equipment to the Portage County Dive Team, and declaring an emergency to effectuate the disposal donation.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T 8044 passes and becomes ordinance 26-124. T 8045, authorized contracts to upfit new FD command car. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with Graphic Expressions, Fallsway Equipment, First and Emergency Products, and Vasu for the upfitting of the recently purchased 2026 Ford Expedition for use by the fire department in an amount not to exceed $30,708.50 and declaring an emergency in order to put the vehicle into service as soon as possible.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T 8045 passes and becomes ordinance 26-125. T 8046, accept 2026 second quarter code updates. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of the city of Streetsboro and declaring an emergency so that the amendments are in effect immediately.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa?
Yes.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T8046 passes and becomes ordinance 26-126. T8047, go out to bid for police station roof replacement. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to go out for bid for the police department roof replacement and declaring an emergency in order to begin the bid process.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa.
Yes.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
Mr. Ring.
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yes.
Ms. Wagner. Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. T8047 passes and becomes ordinance 26-127. T8048, RFQ for owners representative design review services, Ross Road. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to solicit requests for qualifications for owner's representative design review services for the Frost Road widening project and declaring an emergency in order to accept time-sensitive requests.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
And Mr. Lampa.
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yes.
Ms. Wagner. Mr. Ring.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. T8048 passes and becomes ordinance 26-128. T8050, decommission and dispose of unneeded skate park equipment. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing decommission of skate park equipment and declaring an emergency in order to effectuate the timely removal of the skate park equipment.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa.
Yes.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yes.
Ms. Wagner. Mr. Ring.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. T8050 passes and becomes ordinance 26-129. T8051, assign layer 0 TIF funds for reimbursement for public infrastructure. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a tax incentive financing agreement with Layer Zero and declaring an emergency in order to timely execute the agreement.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lampa.
Yes.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
Ms. Wagner. Mr. Ring.
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. T8051 passes and becomes ordinance 26-130. T8052, authorize TIFs for stainless works and park. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance declaring the improvement to certain parcels in the city to be a public purpose and exempt from taxation pursuant to ORC 5709.40B, providing for the collection and deposit of service payments and specifying the purposes through which those service payments may be expended, authorizing school compensation payments, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
Mr. Lampa.
Yes.
Ms. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Ring.
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. T8052 passes and becomes ordinance 26-131. All right, first reading, we have T8053, authorized CRA agreement with Stainless Works. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a community reinvestment area agreement with Stainless Works USA, Inc., and declaring an emergency in order to expedite the effective date of the agreement.
Thank you. Item 8 is second reading, T8039, approved residential CRA property tax exemption. Caroline, please read that one by title.
An ordinance approving a real property tax exemption for Barbara and Brian Coons relative to the property at 708 Diane Avenue, Streetsboro, Ohio, permanent parcel number 35-023-00-00-100-000.
All right. Thank you. I'd like to item 5, reports, communications from departments, boards, and commissions. Captain Grimm.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. Briefly, as of this evening, the fire department responded to 1,971 emergency calls for the year. A reminder for residents to never leave cooking unattended. We have a couple close calls recently, a stove fire on Timber Ridge Trail on August 3rd and an oven fire on Bridgeport Avenue on August 9th. Because the residents were home, their smoke detectors were working, they were able to find the problem right away. The fire department was alerted. The fire was out before we got there. We ventilated both structures. We also had a commercial electrical issue at Giant Eagle this morning. One of their outlets arced and was shorting out. They hit the fire, what was burning with the fire extinguisher, and saved a lot of damage there as well. We also, on July 30th, along with the police department, were involved in a search for an 8-year-old male. That child was found about a quarter-mile away from home because of the cooperative efforts of everyone. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Grimm. Chief Wayne, please.
I have nothing additional this evening.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Edgar, Parks and Rec, how's it going over there?
It's going great. Thanks for asking. We broke ground on the playground today, so that big old lump of dirt out there is actually very exciting to some of us. And we also are gearing up for the Brew Bash this Saturday, so from 12 to 7 in City Park. See y'all there.
Thank you.
Mr.
O'Malley.
I was going to make fun of John, but Steve reminded me that he's got a gun in his car. I'm going to leave the planning department alone. There are new buses starting to serve the city. They basically work like an Uber, with the average price of a new vehicle in this country reaching almost $50,000 and per capita income hovering right about the same, and your average age of a vehicle on the road being about 14 years. This has the potential to put some people that might be on the margins back into the workforce and to help the elderly. And if you have kids and you're sick of carting them around everywhere, you could just give them $10 and just add to. So it has some good potential, and I'm glad that while it's not the bus service that we had been asking for a while, that this at least is a step in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jesnowski.
Thank you. I don't have anything new to report. I've mentioned over the last couple of meetings that at the Planning Commission meeting tomorrow, we'll be continuing discussion on text amendments, looking to improve the development approval process. This will be our third meeting with the Planning Commission to discuss revisions. So I'm hopeful that will go well. Just a reminder that is at tomorrow evening's Planning Commission meeting. And I wanted to thank Council for passage of the parking chapter amendments as well as the rear definition. Much appreciated. Continuing to work on code amendments for the rest of the year and moving forward.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your work on that. Thank you. Mr. Bill Miller from the Services Department. Mr. Miller from Finance, we have not heard from you all night.
Stay pretty quiet. We're wrapping up our 2025 financial audit, so council members will be receiving an email from the state. They have not asked me yet whether or not to waive the final wrap-up meeting, but once they do, I'll reach out to council to see if you'd like to have that meeting. We're also wrapping up the JED audit as well. We officially kicked off 2027 budget with the departments. That'll go on for the next month, just inputting their budgets on the operational side. We're initiating this week the judgment bond, calling that bond in. I will be bringing a budget adjustment in the next meeting to give enough principal in order for me to pay that by December 1st. And then last item, we've been in contact with Portage County in regards to property tax. The bills did go out a month later, so we will be seeing remittance a month later from the county. Some issues with their system. That is all to report.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lockhart-Reese, anything from the Human Resources Department?
No, I have nothing new to report.
All right, Mr. Reganetti, Law?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Item 10, to go back to the mayor. Do you have anything else to add tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. As Samantha said, Brew Barbecue Bash, be there, be square. Bigger and better than ever. And we'll be, so far the weather report gives us 50-50. Cooler temperatures, but 50-50 chance of rain. Keep your hopes up. Also, when you're going home tonight, be careful. 43 and 14, they're reconfiguring the traffic pattern out there. It's not for us to apologize, and I can't apologize for it, but they're about 6.5, 7 weeks behind out there right now. And they were supposed to be done with that part of it by around the 1st of July. We understood why they were a couple weeks behind because of the concrete problem. I don't know what the issue is now. It still looks like they've got a couple more weeks of work out there before they move on. Needless to say, we're not happy with it. And I wish that they would devote a few more resources in it to get it caught back up. It is having a profound effect on us, and it by no means does it make us happy. Diagonal Road, Diagonal 303, that project is still on time. We haven't had any setbacks over there. Seasons Road Culvert will be commencing here pretty soon, I think within a couple weeks. With Diagonal being closed and Seasons being closed, it has given the service department, you guys remember you approved the rental of a paver and a miller. And Billy and the crews have been out there in Diagonal making significant repairs to Diagonal. They're almost done. Did you get south of 14 today? They're milling? Okay. They'll get south of 14, and then they'll be going into Seasons next week to start on that. And then our city paving will commence. For some reason, my brain is starting to go to sleep. It's almost my bedtime. The city paving program will commence here pretty soon, within next 2 or 3 weeks or so. I can't remember the exact date, but that'll be Ferguson and Elliman, Holborn on the 3 cul-de-sacs, and the entirety of Quells Chase. I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, Mayor. Item 11, President of Council's comments. I just want to thank everyone that came here tonight to speak. It's good to see everyone come out and talk about how they feel about different topics, so thank you for coming out. Also, I believe I'm signed up to vote at the Brew Bash. I don't know what I'm voting on, but I'll be there.
You're a very important role. You're a barbecue judge.
I need some security. So, we can get me on security detail, that'd be great. All right, item 12, council members' comments. We'll go with Ms. Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight and telling us how you feel. Most of you that spoke were from Ward 1, and I do realize that. I've spoken to a number of people, done a lot of research myself, and I just want people to know that I've seen comments on Facebook. It doesn't matter what we think. Yes, I hope tonight you saw, yes, it does. That's all.
Mr. Lampa.
Thank you. I will just echo Ms. Glenn. It's not easy to get up and speak in front of a council. So we do appreciate you coming out and sharing your thoughts. And believe it or not, I read every comment on Facebook. I don't respond to all of them now.
I believe that.
But you know, I think it was loud and clear, and I appreciate people voicing their opinion, and even reaching out to me. Like, people private message me. I mean, seniors private message me, and this was a hard decision. I mean, I support the safety forces, but I also know where all of you stand as well. So thanks again for coming out. It's fair. Agree.
Mr. Mishniak, I gave you a few minutes of my time.
Yeah, no, I agree with him. He's right. Yeah, they solve crime, but they have risks, right? They have privacy risks and data risks. And I'm also glad people came out and voiced their opinion. Everybody was respectful, and it's good to see the seats filled up once in a while. But yeah, thanks. You got to come more often. We got to do a controversial issue. But yeah, thanks for speaking. Those that spoke did fine. I know people get nervous, but you did fine. And that's how democracy works. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ring.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, everybody's already said it, so thanks for coming out and speaking. Community engagement is always important. I hope to see more of you more regularly, even with the boring stuff. Keep up on what's going on with the city. Other than that, Sager, I can't wait to eat some barbecue.
I'll serve you beer.
I probably won't be drinking there, but yeah, I can't wait to eat some barbecue. Last year we did the tour. I think we got ribs at every barbecue truck.
Oh, you were loaded.
Yeah, just to figure out who had the best ribs. Maybe this year we'll do it.
Now, do I have to buy a ticket to vote for this, or like, I don't have to pay for it, right? All right. Ms. Wagner.
I'll echo everyone else. I appreciate everyone coming out, and I appreciate differences in opinions too, and I appreciate your view, and I hope that you appreciate my view, even if it didn't agree with yours, but just coming from a different perspective, and I greatly appreciate everybody, and I hope you feel this. So thank you so much for coming out and spending your evening with us.
All right, thank you. I have some announcements, so hold tight. The Brew and Barbecue Bash is Saturday, August 15th, 2026, from 12 to 7 p.m. at City Park. We have an ice cream social Sunday, August 16th, from 2 to 4 at City Park. There will be Finance Committee meeting and regular council meeting on Monday, August 24th, 2026, starting at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. I need a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm hearing none. We're adjourned. Thank you. All right.